Karthik, my friend, how you doing?
Hi, how are you? Yeah.
Good. Welcome to everyone who's joining us. This is another episode of Weekly Squeeze. We rescheduled this session from Sunday night to Monday because of the Labor Day weekend. Thanks for joining us. Karthik and I, your hosts. We'll have a special episode today. We'll have a little bit of more focus on crypto up front. And I'm very excited to hear from Karthik about the weekend as well in terms of market. So probably we do 30 minutes on crypto and 30 minutes on market internals, and then perhaps finish with when we do the market analysis, we finish with money calendar. What do you think, Karthik?
No, that sounds like a great plan, Eo, and welcome everybody, and thanks for joining us this evening. So do you want to start with crypto to kind of begin with, or what do you want to do?
Yeah, let's do that. Let me just share my screen. Window. So. All right, you guys, let me see actually, let's put a little background in. And, all right, let me see. So as you guys know, I think Bitcoin is actually, let's take a look. Bitcoin is looking really good. I'm going to actually make this a little bigger. We're at 52,600, and breaking 52 is really, really awesome. I actually, so I don't know if you guys know, obviously El Salvador is really adopting Bitcoin as a legal tender, and that's what's happening tomorrow. So ahead of that, there's a lot of purchase of Bitcoin and bullishness in the markets. So I'm very bullish around Bitcoin closing above 52,000, and that's really the next level will be around 57K. And if you look at Market Cipher, and the Bitcoin chart on the weekly time frame, as you guys can see, we're above the EMA ribbon, which is really bullish, and we're at this 618 extension, and we passed the 618 extension, right? We're above 51 here, if you guys can see, 51,000. I was really looking at 52K as like the bar. If we close above it, we may wake up to a 57K tomorrow and Tuesday. So that's really bullish, guys. We're making new all-time highs. However, I wanna give you guys a caution. If you guys can see Market Cipher, it's giving you an early warning. So this is a weekly chart, so we have one more week, I think, before we get perhaps a sell signal here for a retracement, right? So I'm assuming this week we go hit 57K, provided that we close today above 52K. So we're trading all day tomorrow above 52K. We'll close this week at 57K with the squeeze forming. But at the end of the week, I'll caution you guys, we're about to get a sell signal in the next week or two. So probably 2 weeks. 1 week to 2 weeks, we're going to be about 57K. And perhaps that's going to be a small rejection, pull back to 618 again, and then we continue up. That's the weekly. If you look at monthly, guys, like monthly is very bullish, right? You have the VWAP, it's about to cross the zero line. So we go to 57K, pull back to 618, and then we continue to move up. So on the monthly scale, right, we could pull back all the way to the halfway mark of this Fibonacci bar, which is like 46K. And, most likely people will panic if that happens, but that would still be the continuation of the bullish movement, okay? And obviously, this view up about to cross zero line is really, really bullish. We're about to make a wave here, another, green dot momentum wave. So I expect this next, basically monthly to close up here, and then we continue our uptrend. It looks really bullish. If we look at the daily chart, again, we are about to make a momentum wave turn, but the squeeze histogram is really bullish. So we may get another jump. Like I said, this week is a big week. I think we're going to get some big numbers on Bitcoin. And then we can, we can see how this daily view up turns. So I'm very bullish from that perspective. Any questions on Bitcoin, Karthik? Any views, anything? I don't know if we get any questions from anybody.
No, I think you're going in the right path in terms of kind of trying to figure out where the market's going to go next week, next month. I think that's kind of what the people are looking for. So I think.
Let me tell you guys a little bit about my views on the crypto market in general. Let me share something else. So there's this. So if you look at the the top 10, you have Bitcoin, Ethereum, Cardano, Binance Coin, right? The big ones. Look at Solana, guys. I've been telling you guys Solana since Solana was $30. It's 163, and I did an analysis on Solana. I think our next target is 172. Hopefully, some of you are in this. So my favorite altcoins are Solana, Cardano, Ethereum, obviously. So my target on Ethereum is about 9,000 by the end of the year, with the assumption that Bitcoin continues to run up to 100K. Cardano, I'm assuming, basically my target is if they don't mess up their smart contract news and people continue to be excited about smart contracts, Cardano doubles from here. Great opportunity because of the suspicion around smart contract not potentially be as powerful as Solana or Ethereum. It took some beating, so there may be an opportunity here in case they actually come out and do a good job in their contracts, and developers respond well. This thing could double in the next couple of weeks. Solana, I think, is the best smart contract platform. I wouldn't be surprised if you see Solana in the number 3 spot. So if you look at the market cap here, $91 billion for Cardano. Solana is a better project, right? So it's $45 billion market cap. So imagine when this thing is 90 billion, we're doubling this up. This is going to be at 320. Not too distant, guy. This is the best smart contract platform right now. It could even get close to the Ethereum market caps in the near future, but that's going to take a little more time. Ethereum has a lot of adoption, right? Solana just started. So Ethereum is at $460 billion market cap, right? So you can just imagine it's 10x from here. So at the kind of super cycle levels, Solana could easily hit $1,000, and it's still a great opportunity. I've been telling about Solana. I got into this thing $15. I added at 30. I added again at 138. like literally last week. I'm going to dollar cost average this thing and build up my position. I'm actually exiting a lot of my Ethereum projects. I keep my Ethereum stake as ETH. That I'm not touching the long term. But I have a lot of Ethereum projects I'm invested in. I'm just taking profits on those, like Polkadot, Uniswap, a lot of other Ethereum projects. I'm exiting those and actually getting into Solana and Solana projects. They're micro cap and they're great projects. So my favorites at the top 10, I think we're going to see Solana keep rising up. If Cardano doesn't mess up their smart contracts, this thing, so you'll see Solana, Cardano, Ethereum at the top right after Bitcoin. I think Chainlink will come up as well. Look at these returns, guys. This is crazy. Terra Luna is one of my favorites, even though it's kind of stable and coming down. This thing is gonna probably 3x from here. And Polygon is a layer 2 solution for Ethereum, so a lot of Ethereum's problems are solved by Polygon. So this thing could double easily. So Matic, Terra Luna, Solana, and Cardano. So let's take a look at the charts for some of these.
EO, just had one question for myself. When you look at these projects, do you do a fundamental analysis of what these projects are?
Yeah. So a lot of my comments right now is fundamental.
Okay.
But then price entry is a different story, right? I do charts on the price entry. Like when I entered Solana at 137, I had orders at 137, but Solana was trading at 145. But it came down, hit 137, and immediately bounced. It was because it was really a chart analysis. I had an entry, so we can look at some entry zones for these if you like.
Yeah, can you look at? I mean, after that, probably can you broadly discuss how do you kind of evaluate fundamentally, what projects? Is it just your experience in handling these kind of seeing these?
Let's talk about it. So when I look at these projects, obviously I have like 25 years of technology experience. I've been following these projects. So adoption is number one. So I look at is there mass adoption by institutional projects, institutional brand names, leveraging these projects. And then I look at the use cases. What are the use cases for these projects? So, and then where is the turnover and the high turnover projects that create a lot of volume? So if you think about Ethereum's business case, why we have so much adoption in Ethereum. Actually, let's start with Bitcoin, right? Bitcoin's business case is it's the first arrival business case. It's a store of value, and a lot of adoption on institutional users as protection against inflation. So Bitcoin's use case is not going to go away. It's the scarcity and the widely acceptance across the globe as digital gold, and it has a lot of capabilities around fractional ownership and ability to be able to take it to anywhere in the world and easily turn into cash in that local currency. And it protects its value against the local currency, especially in those areas of the world where you have high inflation. So that's not going to go away. So, and if we continue printing money in the US, this thing is just going to protect, you against inflation in the long run. The one advice I have with Bitcoin is just don't worry about the day-to-day fluctuations and volatility. You have to look at these things at 3-4 year cycles. If you look at 3-4 year cycles on Bitcoin, there has been no one who has lost money. If you held Bitcoin for 3 or 4 years, you never lost money in the history of Bitcoin. It's you look at it in the perspective of 1 year, you may have felt the pain, when it went from 20K to 3K. But if you look at a 3-4 year range, there has been no one who has lost money if they held longer than 3 years. In fact, you have 1,000% returns. So you're averaging 100% returns every year against an inflation ratio, probably hit an inflation ratio of 10, 15% in the US. Perhaps in other countries, you're looking at 25, 30% inflation rates. Whether the governments recognize that or not, your purchasing power reduces every year. And it's a use case that's a great protection, and you have limited supply and more people recognizing this value, and there's more demand coming in. So it's just going to grow exponential from here. So, I'm one of those people who believe that this thing is going to be one day, $1 million per Bitcoin. And it's because you're going to be looking at like trillions of dollars of market caps, tens of trillions for Bitcoin easily if everyone participates in the world. When you look at Ethereum, Ethereum's business case is not store of value, right? Ethereum's business case is it's a technology marketplace that facilitates a lot of different use cases. So it's the Amazon of basically blockchain. So a lot of other projects launch through Ethereum, and they help with supply chain risk management. They help with financial services, providing financial services without the middleman. They help with projects that help with privacy. You have a lot of things that you can provide, like privacy and immutable services, and where you're removing the middleman. Ethereum provides that, and it's a highly distributed network. And you do this. Ethereum's problems are different, right? Like there's so much adoption that this price 3,900. We're going to laugh at this. It's going to double from this pretty easily, and because of a lot of adoption of smart contracts. So smart contracts provide automated engagement of a value chain and distributing that value to every participant. So if we go from a corporate America, shareholder reward to a everybody who participates in the ecosystem kind of sharing model. So that's a revolution, right? It's going from for-profit corporate value chain that rewards only the shareholder to a model where not only shareholders got rewarded, but everybody who participates in the ecosystem and provides value to the chain gets rewarded. And that is done automated way, so you don't have like any funky stuff going on where the insiders taking advantage of you. I'm sure like in trading, even in crypto, you could have manipulations and things that may affect the outcome. But in decent projects and projects that are very well distributed in nature and decentralized, everybody gets rewarded, and that reward mechanism is very transparent to the users. So you're going to see more and more users and adoption coming into this. And Ethereum has the first mover's edge, right? But Ethereum also is one of the oldest, and the smart contracts has issues. You have gas prices that are so expensive where the little person cannot trade anymore. Not trade, I mean. The little person cannot participate in this reward systems without paying big gas fees. And that gas fee situation needs to be resolved for Ethereum to have a more adoption. And also, you also have 15 transactions per second, which is, pretty pathetic in terms of smart contract, for the amount of adoption you have. It was okay in the beginning, but it's no longer okay. When you compare that to, Solana use case, which is every smart contract capability Ethereum has, but with Solana, you can do 50,000 transactions per second. It's a big upgrade, and that's for Solana. That's just the beginning. I think Solana will be in millions of transactions per second once they continue on the roadmap. So, for that reason, Solana has been rising from top 20 project to a top 10 right now, and I think it needs to be top 3. Cardano similarly, again, another smart contract platform. So Cardano, Solana, and Ethereum have the same use cases, right? They are robust smart contract platforms with strong developer fan base and a lot of institutional adoption. But Cardano's fan base is stronger, but institutional adoption is just starting, and they haven't enabled their smart contracts yet. So we need to really see how Cardano smart contract adoption is going to be, because this thing could be $10 before you know it, once they enable their smart contracts. Same thing happened to Solana, right? So Solana smart contract adoption, and people started seeing the volumes of transactions, and a lot of adoption and price movement happens. Let me just pause, Karthik. I don't know if you have any questions from the group.
No, I think no questions from the group. I think that makes perfect sense to me. Just one clarification. I think for noobs like me, would you be able to explain, what's a use case with an example, say for an Ethereum or a Solana or for a Cardano? Like, what's a use case? If you could kind of provide an example, simple example explaining kind of what's the use case.
So basically, there are multiple use cases, but let's pick a project. Like, actually, a good use case for the VeChain has a smart contract as well, right? Like, look at the, exponential growth. I was telling you guys, this was on buy zone at 0.09 literally 2 weeks ago, and it's now 0.15. This thing is going to, it's probably going to like 0.5 if we complete this super cycle. So, for example, what VeChain does, right? It tracks authenticity of products. So you have an immutable record of luxury products, and you can track the whole life cycle of the supply chain for something you purchase. So a lot of luxury products use VeChain to represent this transparently on a public blockchain record. So when you purchase something, you know that you're purchasing something authentic, and the full life cycle of that product is captured on a blockchain, and you can trace that. Where can you do that right now outside this type of scenario? Do you know anything you purchased right now and what it gone through, like it went through? You can. So now with luxury products, you can do that with VeChain. So actually, let's take a look at I pick on VeChain because it's like they're focused on supply chain. It's easier to understand.
Sure. Yeah, that's fine.
Otherwise, like, let's take a look at. So, just want to show you guys an example. Use cases, like. I want to show you guys one. All right, look. Let me see if I can zoom in. Let's get bigger. Look at this. This is a great use case. Okay. Oops. There's the food problem. Okay. The food sector is crippled with supply chain inefficiencies, frauds, and scandals. So how do you know a wine is authentic from the region it got produced? When you're drinking it and you're at your home, you purchased it from somewhere, but how do you know you actually purchased something that's authentic? So VeChain tracks it all the way from the vineyards in, let's say, in France. And so you can scan and immediately find it on the blockchain, and you can see the whole life cycle of a particular product. So I don't think that's what they describe here. Let me see. They probably describe something else here. Collaborate on a transparent, trusted data flow, scan desired product, consumer scan card, detailed information, source and ingredients of products, geographic locations. Oh, temperature data. So let's say you got some sort of food, brand food you purchased, but how do you know from supplier to the distributor, how do you know it actually maintain the temperatures required for that food to stay within the expiration dates that was highlighted to you at the grocery store. How do you know currently? You cannot know. It solves that problem because it tells you on the blockchain this product has not exceeded or stayed under the thresholds required for that food to stay healthy. Currently, you can't do that without this solution. It actually requires the manufacturer to, throughout the life cycle, in certain points, scan the product temperature for those products that's sensitive to temperature, right? That's a use case. So look at this. From farmers, producers, to logistics. Like during logistics, a lot of products can go bad. We actually don't know. We just trust the stores right now. But there's no way stores can check the product is good unless they visibly see, like visually they can see the product is bad, right?
Yeah.
So you don't know that. But right now with VeChain, you can track this. They actually have temperature controlled NFT, that's a different tokens, that actually communicate with the blockchain near real time and registers with the system. So that's a food traceability use case.
Got it.
But a lot of the blockchain use cases may not be apparent to the end user yet, and that's the problem and the opportunity of blockchain solutions. A lot of things that require middleman, that we have to trust the middleman, will be removing the middleman, because we will have automated ways to trace things that will give us the. Now, will there be other fraud related to the new platforms, a new way of doing things? Of course. So we have to also have solutions to fraud. That's
no, that's great. I think that's a good example. I think it's daily use. You can see kind of where the supply chain solutions are. But why do these guys go? They don't go for like a traditional IPOs in the stock market versus going for an initial coin offering kind of thing. Like, is there any specific reasons you see that?
Of course, because you don't want a shareholder model. I explained that. Shareholder model only rewards the company who owns the product. So inherently, it's risky because you're trusting a middleman. You're trusting the company. On a decentralized blockchain model, there are a lot of validators. On the VeChain is probably a more centralized project than any other one, but VeChain probably has about hundreds or so validators that are all big other firms that are validating the transaction happened the right way. So you're not trusting the food provider anymore. You're trusting independent entities that are participating in the network that says this product has been through the, so it replaces the actual distribution network that you have to trust. So it actually, everybody on the supply chain in a centralized model, they are exploitable because they're all incentivized to sell the product to the end user, right? So they all lie. So in a blockchain model, this decentralized model, the idea is that you would have so many participants validating this that in order for you to corrupt the network, you have to get more than 50% of the network to say one thing. And at any given moment, making that happen is very difficult to do so.
Got it. Okay.
Most projects are resistant for 51% attack. So the economic model incentivizes value production of the decentralized network. So that's a blockchain topic versus VeChain topic, right? The whole point of blockchain is making everything decentralized, not trusting on. Like VeChain is an organization for the governance model, but the VeChain network wouldn't exist unless all these people participated and created the network. So no one owns it. So this is the problem. This is the problem with Cardano, Ethereum. No one owns Ethereum. They may have founders, but they don't own it. Who owns it? Community owns it. That's the difference between the traditional shareholder model versus in a shareholder model, you could get screwed by the company. in the community-owned model, the founders might decide to do something different, but if, as a community, if we say no, they can't do it. It's a decentralized model, and everybody has a voice in that scenario. There's a whole governance process on most of these projects.
Got it. Okay. Now that helps. Maybe that was a dumb question, but I think that at least gives me like an overview of the community-owned model versus the traditional model. So that helps. Thank you.
Yeah. So if you look at the news, right, El Salvador starts mass buying Bitcoin ahead of BTC becoming legal tender tomorrow. So this is huge. So this week we're probably going to have really big news, guys. This is like, I don't know if people understand how historical this thing is. This is big thing. I hope El Salvador manages this right, and we actually end up having other countries doing this as well. This is like adoption at its best.
There could be a lot of logistics issues, right, in terms of making this as a legal tender.
They bought their first 200 Bitcoins.
Interesting.
Yeah, so they have to provide liquidity to their people. It's amazing. So I love this. Let's take a look at the charts. We'll spend like 5 more minutes on charts, and then I want to come back to you on the
sure
market journals in general.
Yeah, on Ethereum, can you also comment on when you do the charts in terms of your price target? How did you kind of come up with the 9,000 price target?
Oh yeah, that's more fundamental than chart. So
okay.
When I say like 9,000, I'm looking at market cap and what's possible in the near term, because that also assumes Bitcoin will hit 6 digits, 100,000. So I see market caps moving up together on both. So that's more like a fundamental market cap analysis than anything else. So
got it. Okay, thank you.
Let's take a look at Ethereum chart. So daily chart looks a little ugly, guys. So Ethereum could pull back. So sometimes when Bitcoin dominance increases and where Bitcoin is about to do a big move, altcoins pull back. So you have to watch out for that. And they create buying opportunities. Like Ethereum looks like it may pull back with this VWAP and the momentum wave coming down. And this is on the daily chart. So we may have Ethereum kind of consolidate at the same level here, okay? But Bitcoin rise up really quickly, right? Like this looks daily a little bearish in the near term. So if you have Ethereum, it looks like Ethereum completed its move. Now Bitcoin is gonna make a big move this week, and Ethereum might pull back to, I wouldn't be surprised if Ethereum pulls back to 3,700s, okay? Because it had the squeeze fired to consolidate. So it looks like on the daily, but let's look at weekly. Yeah, weekly we have the squeeze about to fire. So maybe it has a little pullback to halfway point of this Fibonacci candle on the weekly. So at the end of the week, we may have a 3,700 Ethereum. If we see that, guys, that's a buy. So because the next level will be 43.72. So we pull back, and then we go back up to 4300s. And then, as you guys can see, we have a momentum wave about to turn. So I suspect we fire the squeeze and we go up, hit the 4300s, and then we bounce down back to the 618 level, which is 3350. So historically, September is a bearish month for crypto. So, but we started the month very, very bullish. So it looks like this week is still bullish, but I expect the pullbacks the end of September, and then we continue to go up in October on all the way to the end of year. To if I'm right, we're gonna see 6-digit Bitcoin, and a lot of altcoins will have 10x's, 5x's, 10x's, and that's where we peak. So daily, we talked about, let me see the 4-hour for Ethereum. Yeah, 4-hour, we have red diamond on Market Cipher. Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised we would have a consolidation and pull back like this. Yeah, the 37. Similar move is possible. It's going into an orange dot squeeze. Guys, big moves are coming. This thing pulls back to 3,700. You better be ready to pull the trigger to buy more, because this thing is going to go up if these squeezes fire. Let's look at Cardano. Cardano looks ugly. For our chart is below the EMA. I think this happened because of the smart card concerns people had. I think people are expecting the smart card news is not going to be good. I think the opposite might happen. So we may have a good opportunity of Cardano until smart card news come up. So this is on a pullback. So don't be surprised if this thing pulls back to 270s. And that will be a buy zone for Cardano. Let me see the weekly. Yeah, weekly is pulling back too. In fact, it could come back all the way to $2.16, $16, and it would still be bullish. Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised. We need to go above this line. Let me see. 3 day. Yeah, 3 days pulling back. 2 day shows pullback. Daily shows pullback. 4 hours. Cardano is going to pull back, guys. Maybe I should post this. Yeah. All right, 4 hour. There's hope. 4 hours is about to give a buy signal. So we'll see. We'll have to see in the next day. I might buy Cardano. It looks like it's going to turn. We'll have to see the VWAP. And the money flow is red. So we'll see how it goes. But I'm going to monitor this. I think 270 region is a buy zone around here. 275 perhaps. Let me see the hourly. Yeah, we're still in this blood diamond, guys. So I'll be careful. This thing can come down to 270s and it will be a good buy. I like this curvature on the money flow. It's about to turn. So it's about a week. And the squeezes, I guess they're all waiting for the Cardano smart contract related news. We'll see how this. I want to see another yellow star here, and this thing goes down to 270s. We should be. I'm going to place some orders at 270 to buy Cardano. Okay, this week. And then let's look at Solana. Actually, chart on Solana somewhere else. This one. I mean, look at this, guys. This chart looks. I mean, the weekly squeeze fired, obviously, and this thing has another week before it's going to give a sell signal for a pullback. So watch out this week. We may get another peak. I think I was estimating 172, my price target. That's what I posted on TradingView when I entered at 138, 137. Yeah, if you guys are not following me on TradingView, my user ID is Crypto.Breakers. And then on Twitter, I also post on Twitter when I post something on TradingView now. You go to Crypto Van Lambo. I'll show you guys. So definitely follow those. Yeah, this looks really bullish. Look at this. Oh yeah, I'll show you guys. So when I posted, this is we. How do I exit this thing? Oh. So this is my TradingView account. So I post Solana to 172. See, I posted this, right? The pattern. We're already going to the pattern. So that's based on market cipher projection and the squeeze. So, oh my God, it's already 165. Wow. So it's going great. Let's see. Anything else you guys want me to look at?
No, nothing that I had. I think it was a good overview of a lot of things that you're looking at. That's pretty good, actually.
All right, Karthik, let's go to market with you. What do you see for this week? I'm really, really curious. I'm always interested in your views on the play for the week.
Yeah, let me share my screen, see if you guys can see my screen here. All right, so let's just take a quick look at the markets for the upcoming week, guys. You see, last 4 to 5 days, we have been in a narrow trading range. It's a kind of a balancing area, and looks like, I mean, this is a holiday weekend, kind of the candle right here. It looks like it's breaking to the upside after this kind of a narrow trading range. So, I mean, I think last week we talked about this. I mean, we've been talking about this for last few weeks, that stay bullish in NQ and ES. So I think it looks like this is going to break to the upside. The way I look at this NQ is look for some resistance at 15,785 is kind of the way I'm seeing right now. If the price action comes to that level, there could be kind of some kind of a consolidation. That's the voodoo snow line that I kind of follow on a regular basis in terms of see what the price action is. I don't see any sell signals here from Ready 5 Pro either. So just stay long, guys, on NQ. There are a couple of other things that I want to kind of bring to your attention this week. Is did some research on a bunch of things. You see, last week we had the August jobs report that came in very soft, like almost 600K below the consensus estimate, right? But the market didn't care, so it kind of rallied. I mean, there was some knee-jerk reaction, but I think bottom line is they were traded to the upside. So the couple of things where I see September could be an interesting month, but there are few things that I'm watching, like the Delta variant surge likely peaking short-term risk on. Interest rate creeping higher modestly. I think that could be a potential risk on as well. Pent-up demand remains strong. That could be some kind of a delayed risk on. Soft economic data, like jobs report, for example. Fed can be dovish, risk on there as well. Washington's going to pass some fiscal stimulus. That could be risk on. There are a lot of factors that I see personally points to September could be a potential risk on scenario. I mean, with that said, there are a few things that you need to keep a watch on. Is this week there's a pitbull tendency for this week that I'm kind of very interested to watch. Wednesday or Friday of this week, I'm expecting kind of a lower in. And you could kind of buy that pullback if we get any kind of pullback in QQQ, in SPY, as well as some of the relative outperforming sectors like XLC, XLK, XLY, even XLF financials as well, and the XLY. XLV, I'm sorry. So some of the sectors you could kind of keep an eye on and see if we could get a trade into the quad witching that's coming up the week of 17th, I guess the week after next. So keep an eye on these kind of things for this week. I think we may go through the money calendar in a little bit. I think September kind of makes an interesting month with quad witching, as well as I think the FOMC meeting coming up on September 22nd could potentially make an interesting last week in the quarter. So there could be kind of nuances in terms of the quarter end and some shenanigans kind of happening during those kind of market events is kind of way I'm looking at. So those are the big items that I am closely keeping an eye on, but trying to stay bullish from a market standpoint. There are a few other things that I want to bring to your attention as well. Is if you look at there's some report that I was reading over the weekend from Tom Lee, where he was talking about, he was looking at a 13-year composite where the first half of the year was great, the return was greater than 13%, where when he was looking at that, when returns were greater than 13%, it shows the stocks could see some turbulence into October, right? And the third week of September is when stocks soften historically. So keep that on back of your mind as you kind of put on your trades for the month of September. So the third week of September is kind of when the stocks kind of soften. There's some other ratios here. 13 years October win ratio is a mere 33%. So what I'm basically saying is there could be a heightened risk in 2021, but in an October sell-off, right, and not a September sell-off. So September, third week in September, and potentially the October sell-off is the way I'm looking at this market. The way I'm seeing is I'm just saying the risks of the turbulence are higher in October. I mean, obviously, it's not a prediction of a big sell-off, but you can kind of keep an eye on some of the things that I'm reading, all the big gurus kind of commenting on when to expect and sell off in September. You may not see that sell-off coming if everybody's expecting. So keep those things in mind. The top three sectors that I'm focused on going into year end is the XLE, that can catch up to the oil, the crude oil, the XLE and the OIH. And the last one is the basic materials, which is the XLB ETF, which is the reflation beneficiaries. So those, some of the few sectors into year end to kind of keep an eye on. If there's any sell-off, you could kind of try to get into those markets. So hopefully that makes sense from a higher, broader perspective of where the markets are heading for the month of September and coming into October. So with that said, let's just look at a few things here on the sentiment side. Hopefully you guys can see my screen here. If not, I can just broaden this here. Let's look at a couple of indices sentiment. I think last week we looked at this sentiment for NASDAQ. I mean, you guys can see we are in the oversold region here. So, will we get back in here to load up again? It's a question that, it's a $1 million question that I'm asking myself. So that's kind of, but just keep an eye on these things. I'll just walk through the sector sentiment in a while to give you what sectors you guys can focus on and which one is oversold versus overbought. So this is NQ. Few others that I want to talk through is where's the S&P here? Okay, S&P. It's just coming off the oversold region. Do we get into this zone here for us to buy? I don't know. I think we talked about gold last week as well. We said let's buy gold. I think that was a kind of a good. I think it was a couple of weeks back where it was in the oversold region. This was a kind of a good buy then. So it's coming close to the oversold, overbought region. So just keep an eye on your positions and make sure your stops are in place. So if you're managing any gold trades. And last but not the least, let's see if I have a crude here. Yeah, the crude oil sentiment is also kind of somewhat neutral right now. So there's nothing to do from my side, but wait for the zone to load up if we get any pullback in this zone. So those are kind of the big markets that I'm personally watching. The few other things I want to bring to your attention is, as usual, the sector sentiment. See if I can pull this up. Okay, here it is. So if you see, you guys can see the sector sentiment chart here, right? Okay. There's nothing that needs attention because most of the sectors are in the neutral kind of zone. The one thing that I want to talk about is the semiconductors and the XLK, where we could get a zone. I think this is like close to the overbought zone. So it's still not there yet, but it could get there this week if the markets kind of spike up. So keep an eye on this. If you're trading any semiconductor stocks and the XLK, the sentiment indicator could get kind of bearish if it gets to the overbought zone here. But other than that, I don't see any other thing that needs attention because some of the industrial sectors are kind of neutral. Financials is kind of neutral here too. Healthcare is pulling back a little bit after touching the overbought region. So I just want to kind of say that, this week, if there's any pullback, as I said before, wait for the pitbull low on Wednesday through Friday. That can potentially happen this week. And look at QQQ and X and the SPY and the relative outperforming sectors in these ETFs to kind of jump in and see if we can kind of take that long into the next week after next for the quad witching and the option expiration the next week. So hopefully that helps, and I'm happy to address any other questions folks may have for the coming up week. Back to you, E.O.
Yeah, let's take a look at some of the usual stocks, right? All right, let's look at Amazon. Let's start with some of the usuals. I typically start with a higher time frame and then we go to the lower time frame. So on the weekly, we're still on the bounce from the lows that we saw, which was around 3,100, 3,170. We got the buy signal really around confirmed buy signal around 3,300, but we got in some trades here at 32. Actually got in around 3,200 calls. Those were really, really good. We're starting a squeeze process here. Weekly looks really good. VWAP is about to cross. On the weekly chart, again, you could pull back the halfway mark of the Heiken-Ashi candle, which is 30, somewhere around 33.65, 33.70. something like that, and that would be a good buy. Right? At 33.70, I would be a buyer of Amazon. I hope it pulls back so we can do another call vertical on this, because that will start the new. We may be, 1 week away from a 33.70 buy signal. We'll see. But this momentum wave needs to complete. As you guys can see, we're on this green money flow, but it's kind of making this curvature to the downside. But when it comes with VWAP crossing the zero line to the upside, that's bullish. So we're still on a slightly bullish trajectory for Amazon. Let's see, 3-day. Yeah, 3 days still on the bullish cycle. I wanted to come back to, like I said, 33.80, something like that. That would be good. Buy. Yeah, we have a quick reversal signal here on 2-day. Let me see, the daily would be good. Yeah, daily is kind of about to pull back. So that's actually good. So it confirms my agenda. So on the daily, we're about to pull back with squeeze fired. There's going to be a consolidation here. By the end of this week, hopefully we pull back to 33.70. That may give us a buy opportunity for the higher time frames. Let me see, 4 hours. 4 hour needs to complete this momentum wave to the downside. Yeah, we may have a pullback on Amazon for a buy. Any other views on Amazon? Karthik?
No, let's just one. I think these are the levels that I'm watching. I think that we got a nice kind of gap fill. I think more than 50% of the gap fill happened, right? So the 30 to 35, 25 area is where my voodoo snow line is. I think if we get some kind of a pullback to the 33.65, I think we can ready to be loading up on this, right? Is that what you had as well? 33.
I 37, you said 30-65. Yeah, it could actually even come down to 32.50. And we would still be bullish. I would start loading up. Well, not loading up, but still do position sizing. But I think I would be a buyer of some call verticals on Amazon. Yeah. My target on Amazon is, after that bounce, is 3,700. We go back and revisit 3,700.
Right. So I think if I draw a quick Fibonacci number here of this levels, looks like 3,400 is the 38.2% kind of retracement, which is, if it pulls back in here and if we can get some buy signals, that could be trend up, and we could kind of buy into that 3,400 level to the 33.65, 33.70. So somewhere in this region would be kind of a good buy zone, is where I'm kind of focused on. I think I agree with you on Amazon.
All right, let's. Do you want to take a look at Facebook? And I'll look at the Facebook right after here.
Sure. Facebook. All right, this is part of XLC. Again, this is double green. Looks like a pretty bullish chart to me. Where do you want to buy is the question. Let me just give me 1 second. All right. So looks like some what is this? The tree line 373, 375 is kind of holding up pretty well. I mean, I am not a fan of buying this stuff right here, right now. But I think if it pulls back into, say, a 21 period exponential moving average, somewhere around 370, I guess another $6-7, kind of, you could potentially try to buy in here. Ideally, would be 360 would be ideal if we get any pullback. Is my kind of take on Facebook.
Yeah, I agree. Let me just. I was looking at. We had the red diamond on the 4-hour chart. VWAP is turning though. Money flow is going for zero line. So this is going to pull back. I think 370 is probably aggressive buy, but I agree with Karthik. Somewhere around 367 would be a good entry. Let me see on the daily. yeah, this thing needs to pull back to 368. It would be a buy. You have a kind of like a symmetry play here as well. So if it completes this move, we should be looking to add into Facebook at like 367, 365. If you look at market cipher momentum wave turning, view up, this is on daily. So this is going to pull back this week, guys. Let me see. Today. Yeah, 2 days going to pull back. 3 day. Again, the longer term, obviously, trajectory is bullish. Look at this. I mean, this is bullish, right?
Yeah.
We're expecting a pullback to the mean. So somewhere around 365 to 370, goodbye. Yeah, weekly looks really bullish. Like middle of this Heiken-Ashi candle is a good buy. So that's like 368, 369. So it's confirmed all the way around. A couple of us got into Caterpillar infrastructure play. Had a buy to dip signal on this at 213. It's probably a little bit in pain right now because I think it ended up being closing at 210. I actually sold a put vertical on for October monthly, I think. That's 210. So we're at this support zone. This is on weekly, so it's the weekly support zone. Daily may still pull back down further. It's this range here. It's going to be annoying if it pulls back to 205, but 205 to 210 is the buy zone on the daily. Market cipher looks to be getting ready for bullish. Look at these waves, guys. Look at this. This is how I read market cipher. Like this is a nice curvature. We're going to see. Perhaps it's a little bit of another week of pain. That's the reason taking credit and selling puts are probably a lot better than buying direct calls. We may have another week of this thing kind of consolidating here. That'll help with the premiums on our puts. But overarching is this is bullish. Look at these momentum waves getting smaller and smaller, trigger waves, trigger buy signals. That's why we got in. We had this buy signal here, trigger twice at these levels. Perhaps we could have waited and bought a little lower, but I think we're still in good shape. What do you think about Caterpillar? What was the sector sentiment on that?
Yeah, just let me look. XLI.
If you don't, that's fine.
No, it's in here. XLI, it's pretty neutral on XLI. It's right here.
Pull back.
So, I mean, I missed your trade on that, but I don't know what you did. Did you sell just 210 puts?
Yeah, I did 210 to 200 vertical.
Okay.
Credit spread for October. We got really good credit, so
Yeah, I mean it's in a trading range. May make sense to instead of buying calls to sell some puts and sell some calls in here. So this fire line has held pretty well, the 202 level. So anything here probably could kind of still buy 202 level is what I'm thinking. I missed the trade. I've kind of watched that level to see if there's any potential trade next week.
You may get a better entry than all of us if you do it. The only concern I have a little bit is the squeeze histogram kind of turn negative as opposed to positive. So the daily chart, but that typically happens when you go into a higher compression squeeze. So we're getting into a higher compression squeeze, which sets it up to be probably more explosive move to the upside. Given the market cipher, but we may have to deal with a little bit of pain this week. Do you want to take a look at any of the other FANG stocks or semiconductors? Because I know you were trading some semiconductors.
SMH, let's just look at SMH. Let's go back and share the screen here. All right. I mean, this is the semiconductors. A couple of things is biggest component is NVDA. Um, let's just look at that. I mean, it's kind of bullish, but it's all the way up in here. I think I mentioned that um, the sector sentiment is almost to the overbought region. We may have a couple of more days to the upside. If you look at NVDA, for example, can it go and touch the fire line here, right? That could be 234, another $5 or $6. That could be a potential resistance area with the over RAF in the overbought region. So, I mean, will I be trading NVDA next week? No. But kind of keep an eye on this. I mean, if there's any good pullback to these zones in here, to the moving averages, 20 exponential moving averages, and that's where I kind of want to kind of entertain a long position, not at these levels right here.
Yeah, I've been on the NVDA trade. I sold the put vertical spread 205 to 195 many weeks ago. That's doing great. We sold it at 225. That thing is now down to 30 cents. So I need to decide when to book profits on that. It's September 17 expiration. So, but I did that so long ago. Like I'm almost leaning towards just leaving it alone and just booking the remaining. But if it comes down to like 10 cents or something like that this week, I'll just close it and then just book profits.
No, it's the chart itself is pretty bullish, as you guys can see, right? I mean, so would you trade here? But not me. So I probably want to wait for a pullback.
Yeah, let me take a look at the market side for just for everybody's benefit. So remember, guys, like when I did the put credit spread, this is what the W pattern, and I had a price target up here. We hit that price target excellently. I mean, it's as predicted. And
that was a good call, actually.
Yeah, I just like literally it just went up and hit that target. Let me see on the weekly, what does it look like? Yeah, this is still very bullish, guys. Look at this weekly. Money flow positive, VWAP still crossing. This thing can come down to like 218, still be bullish. This green dot on weekly, this can last 1 to 4 bars. So we only completed 1 bar. Just imagine having 2-3 more bars. You'll end up at 2. I don't know. You're gonna end up at 240, 247.
Yeah.
Really. Yeah. But the daily shorter time frames in a consolidation zone. So I guess I won't initiate new trades, but I'm probably not gonna close mine. I think this has a couple more weeks of upside still. Is AMD the same way? Yeah, we talked about a symmetry play, buy zone here. I think buy zone, we expected some sort of pullback. I think you captured this move, right? Karthik, you profited on this.
Little bit, yeah. Not the entire move, but yeah.
This was a really nice move, but now it's consolidating. It's going back into squeeze, which is, although the waves are kind of to the downside, guys, this could pull back. This squeeze has some downside move. This obviously bullish, but it may come back to this buy zone before we move up. Apple. Did Raul have a trade on Apple?
No, I don't remember actually. Sorry.
Yeah, I mean, Apple Weekly is really bullish with this VWAP crossing. It looks like it wants to continue to the upside. Daily is about to do a pullback a little bit, but still, this is really bullish.
Yeah, 155 is the voodoo tree line I have as a significant resistance area. So hopefully we have some squeeze to take us forward on that one.
So look at NDX. Look at this. So NDX on a daily chart, we have a red dot sell signal, and a VWAP is about to cross the zero line. So while we are bullish in the long run, we could have a pullback like this, guys. If the symmetry plays, we could have a pullback to 15,278 this week. Okay, with this red dot sell. So we may have a pullback this week on NDX.
That's the biggest question that I had, EO, was like to look at the bonds correlationship. How does it correlate with the tech kind of the market, tech side of the market? If we get a pullback in bonds, treasury bonds, we may, that means like a higher interest rate that could pull the tech stocks down as well. So it's the way I am looking at.
So like Amazon looked like it's a pullback this week. NDX is looking like that. So yeah. We may get some good buying opportunities by the end of this week. So we have to monitor that. I think I'm still mostly in cash. I reduced a lot of even my long-term stock holdings. I convert to cash for the next week and perhaps even week after.
Okay.
So, but I'm looking for, I'm still bullish for the long term. October money calendar looks real. Oh, we didn't look at the money calendar, guys.
Yeah. Let's just take a quick look at that.
Oops. Just remove this. There. All right. So money calendar, you can see it, right? My screen.
Okay. Yeah.
So September, as you can see, kind of middle of September is a little bit, red. So, and it starts like really after this week. I suspect we're gonna, maybe when we kind of look at buying opportunities, we may need to think about being careful in the middle of September as well. So let's see what we see on the right after Labor Day situation. Yeah, not very good, right? Just a reminder, everyone, money calendar looks at the last 10 years of trading and tries to identify patterns that are consistent, that happens the same way during the same trading days. And we have some bearish trades, and they're all like this. 90% means 9 out of 10 years. If you are short AMT tomorrow, and even though these bars says green, it's just a profit green. 9 out of 10 years, this would be a good short. Entering September 7, perhaps with puts on AMT, and exiting September 24. So you can do. So you would, on average, make $5, max profit of 28 point move. So that's interesting. I like using money calendar more for bullish setups, though. Caterpillar is on a bullish setup. September 7, 16. There's only one, 2014, that's negative. So hopefully that helps us.
Yeah.
I'm just gonna check the kind of middle of the week. Let's see if there's anything. Yeah, more bearish setups, guys. Look at GLD. That's Wednesday, right? It's not the best chart, but it is a consistent profit. September 8th through October 1st. Or maybe I didn't click this right. We have to have the power meter right. Yeah, it's still AMT CMG. Look at this, 90%. My part, like this is bearish setup, guys. September 8th. Look at this. This is a nice chart. This is a short. September 8th through October 7th. That's like CMG. Actually, let's look at the chart of CMG. Do you want to look CMG?
Yeah, I can. Let's take a quick look.
Money calendar basically is expecting a big downside move on CMG.
I mean, the way I look at this, again, I go back to my kind of setups. It's kind of pretty bullish from a trend as well as from a sentiment standpoint. Yeah, you can have a money calendar sell for a couple of weeks, but I am. Yeah, I don't know. I'm leaning towards the bullish side, but we can get some pullbacks, and I'm going to wait for the pullback and then take a look at from the buy side. That's kind of my take on CMG, guys.
Look at this. Let me show you. Oops, this is the wrong screen. Let me show you on Market Cipher. This is so interesting, guys. This is why I like Market Cipher. What did I do? Okay. Look at the weekly chart on CMG. We have a red diamond, and we have a red dot. VWAP is about to cross zero line to the downside. We are on money flow green, but its curvature is about to come down. So while the chart is bullish, it's overextended. We're going to have a pullback. So Market Cipher says on the weekly chart, and they squeeze had fire and it had big moves. So we're going to have this is a weekly chart, right? Couple of weeks of down to the, to the mean. This is why like 150 point move to the downside to 1 ATR would be okay, and you would still be bullish. But we could catch this 150 point pullback on CMG. Let me see. Yeah, I mean, you don't have to do long puts or anything like that. You can sell calls up here. I don't know the premiums, but we should take a look at CMG premiums. Like, you would probably be, even if it consolidates, it's after the squeeze is fired, so a lot of consolidation and downside move is possible, pullback. So you get some good credits. Daily chart is okay. Daily chart shows consolidation. But the waves, look at the waves, guys. This is the opposite of which chart we looked at that was kind of bullish. Like, what's this? Look at this. See this curvature?
Yeah.
So VWAP is kind of indicating this is daily. So you may have a day or two of upside, but that's a short after that. Again, for next couple of weeks, this kind of shows a potential coming down with the curvature of the money flow. Again, in the long run, it's a bullish setup, right? But if we're saying money calendar, middle of September, pullback, this is overextended. You could have a giant pullback opportunity here. Perhaps some premium can be captured.
Yeah, no, that's a good point. But I hate to pick the tops or the bottoms in this market, especially. You never know.
Yeah, I agree. It's
Yeah.
always position size.
Yeah.
Karsh is asking, Karthik, maybe, I don't know if you saw this. Can you look at the next 2 weeks and take some contrarian positions? What's your view on that?
Is he talking about money calendar? Probably, I'm not sure. So can you look at the next 2 weeks? Can you look at the money calendar for next 2 weeks?
Yeah,
Any other? Yeah, maybe there's.
Let's take a look. All right. So, so basically, this is where we are, right? Next 2 weeks. So we expect a pullback, Kosh. So I think next week, like if you look at this, lots of reds, except LRCX. That's stuck. It's crazy. We missed some moves there.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, I mean, oh, look at this. Nvidia is on the list for a pullback. Wow. So if you not shorted, but like perhaps, well, I guess shorted Nvidia next Friday and exited on September 24, you would capture a 65-point move, which is, by the way it's extended, it's possible. And it would still be bullish in the long run, but it's a pullback. So some of these like contrarian positions for a very bullish market can produce some. So I think with the mid-September, I think I'm going to look at Nvidia pullback at the end of the week. If it continues to the upside move this week, and then on Friday we're looking at all the extended prices, I might just take a lot of puts at the 50-point down. Karthik, just take a shot at it.
No, that's that's a good idea actually. I mean, if you think market is coming down, I would rather go buy puts and play around with the market indices. I mean, Nvidia. There could be a potential news event that could screw up the whole kind of position, but. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I mean, the NVDA, there could be potential resistance, a couple of bucks up from here. I mean, we could sell above that fire line that we talked about. I think the LRCX sounds interesting to me, actually. If you go back and look at the charts, EO, it's been in the sideways market for last since beginning of the year, I should say. Since beginning of February. There could be kind of potential selling premiums there, opportunity in selling premiums there. Is the way I look at LRCX. I mean, I don't know. I mean, so can you show me okay, LRCX. Let me take a screenshot of this. Give me 1 second. So I can kind of follow up.
Perfect though. I don't like seeing, I want to see like at least last 5-6 years to be all profitable trades. Like this is a very recent non-profitable trade.
Gotcha.
So I wouldn't trust this one.
All right.
You need if you're gonna have 9 out of 10, 90% trade, I want this red to be like all the way down here, not recent. So I wouldn't take this trade.
All right, let's ignore the LRCX then. Yeah, NVDA, if it gets to 235, let's consider for selling calls. Is the way I'm kind of looking at it.
Yeah. All right. Do you guys want to see my NFT collection?
Yeah, let's do it.
So I've been collecting some NFTs. So there is a project called Loot. I got these last night. I got these against the contract actually, and they're like silly stuff, but it's called Loot for Scammers. Look at the offers I have, and the floor price on these right now. Oh, it came back down. It went up. It was 0.29. It was like 0.40. It came down.
Can they name this NFTs much better than Loot for Scammers? Huh?
This was available to everybody to participate for free. You were just paying gas price, and now like it's up to 0.3. Yeah, like the floor price is like 0.3 right now. That's just crazy. I sold a gorilla earlier today for 3 ETH. That was a lot of fun. So I'm waiting for these guys to gain some value. I have these Alka bones. They're this project kind of messed up their initial public offering, so I might be stuck with these for a while. So it tells you like not to overinvest in anything. It could blow up. This colonist, I got some of these, a whole bunch of these. I got like I got these as part of pre-sale, so I'm hoping at some point I can sell these. This guy got an offer. It disappeared. 0.1 offer.
Interesting. So is this all your collections as of today? Like whatever the other screen that you were on?
Oh yeah, so this is the one I sold earlier.
Oh, okay.
So I sold this one this was me. I sold for 3 ETH to this guy. He's getting already offers. That's good for him. Yeah, so I mean, we'll talk about this. There's an experiment by this famous guy. Like these are not images; it's just text files. He's establishing a community, and so I just participated. We'll see how it. Like now, we're all, because I own an address and that's mine. They have my active engagement. So we'll see how this experiment works. But NFTs have some really interesting use cases. You're basically provable ownership. You have provable ownership and membership in a community by owning the NFT. And then if the community actively engages and creates value, the value of your NFT goes up. If the community is not very good, then the value of your NFT is not going to go up. It's going to go to zero. So anyhow, I'm experimenting. This says, so don't play with NFTs unless you're willing to lose the whole thing, right? So it's a high risk play at this point. But I am addicted, guys. I'm addicted to NFTs, but it's like I'm playing with 5% of my portfolio. So I'm not risking more than 5% on NFTs. But this is how I learn a new area. Like I literally started playing with NFTs like 3-4 weeks ago. So I bought this Did you rock? You know why I bought it? It was like I thought the idea was fun. So there was a service, and in order to benefit from the service, they suggested that you buy this NFT. It gets you entry into the service. The service is a software code that I needed for something that make it easier for me, as opposed to I was doing it manually.
Yeah.
So basically, the software code checks that I own the NFT before it gives me access to the code. So I bought this NFT for a very small price, but it's receiving a payment through the NFT. I thought it was a good use case. So now I have this stupid rock collection. So I'm able to access the tool. you know.
I mean, you're amazing.
All right, so this is not investment, but I thought the guy was pretty smart by asking that as a payment. So I got it. So like, we'll see. I am more bullish about these collection getting value in the long run. These things can go pretty high if they can get their act together. And this Altcoins I'm bullish on. But right now, I'm kind of stuck with them for many months, most likely. But I'll give you guys an update as I sell things, because I get excited when I get offers to these things. So.
I don't know how you watch all these markets and do your other job too. So it's crazy.
This stuff is like a hobby. I get excited about this stuff because I think about all kinds of other ways these things will provide power and freedom and economic empowerment to the society. Guys, thing I can see that these things will do, it's like blows my mind. So it actually helps my other job because I'm always like ahead of my peers around these topics because I'm staying close to the emerging tech. So all right. So Janak asks, "Will I be posting money calendar screenshots?" I will. Yeah, I'll post that right after this. Okay. Any final comments, Karthik?
No, I think we addressed most of the things. So keep an eye on the Pitbull low this week for next week option expiration, and pick on some of the stocks that we discussed during the session, and let's go from there. And everybody have a profitable week and enjoy your short trading week.
All right. Thanks, everyone. Have a great trading week. Let's make money together. All right. Let's see.